Hey guys, what is going on? Listen, I'm running late in my car and waiting on my sister. You know, we said it's about working it out, y'all. So I do apologize for the delay. I apologize because we was running, y'all. But on this session, and as I said, we've been working it out. We've been walking, we've been exercising, and on our little journey of getting in better health, me and my sister, we've been talking about some real life issues, y'all. I hope this man don't hit my car. We've been talking about some real life issues, and a lot of people been hitting us up, talking to us, talking about how it's been, helping them out, getting them encouraged and motivated to start exercising, walking, eating right, and all above, right? So when me and my sister was talking, I said, you know what? Let's call this session "Work It Out." And she said, okay. And she thinking because we walk in and we exercising. But I said, a lot of the issues and circumstances and life challenges we've been talking about, it has come to the time that we got to work this situation out. Complaining, having pity parties, it gets you nowhere. Nowhere. You stuck in the same place, the same position, in the same circumstance. And I was telling her how God had dealt with me maybe a few weeks ago about discover, deliver, and development. And she was like, wow. So when I broke it down and began to tell her about the discover, it was like, do some soul searching. A lot of times we love to, I want to say, play the blame game. We want to talk about what people did to us and how they did it to us and how they belittled us and how they lied to us and how they cheated us and all of the other stuff. You know how we do, right? But we never take accountability of our actions. And when God was dealing with me, and not just a few weeks ago or a few months ago, this has just been a process that's going through, right? And in discovering, I learned there was still some trigger points in my life. And so when we started talking about working it out, we're talking about all the way across the board. Yeah, we're physically going and walking. We're physically exercising. We're changing our diet and all of that kind of stuff. But mental health is a real life thing. Mental health is serious. And I know by me being a stylist, a minister, a life coach, and having people sit in my chair for over 30 plus years now, I noticed a lot of us deal with the same issues, right? And in those issues, I realized that a lot of stuff that we wrestle with is mental stuff, spiritual stuff, emotional stuff. And so I'm like, okay, God, this ain't no coincidence that we all dealing with the same issues, and it may be different seasons, but we're dealing with it. So I told my sister, I don't know about her, but for me, and I'm waiting on her to still pull up, it has helped me to actually start walking, help me start exercising. Because when you're confined in an area or you're confined doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's like the enemy will start coming to play with your mind, your mental, right? And sometimes you have to isolate yourself and you have to change up some stuff and you have to do something different. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of that comfort zone of, you know what, this is a safe place for me. I declared and decreed to myself as well as to God to say, you know what, here it is, I'm about to hit 52. What am I going to do different in chapter 52 that I am not doing now in chapter 51? I can't expect to change if I'm not willing to change. I can't expect other people to do something I'm not willing to even do for myself. And so I have to take accountability. You have to take accountability of wanting different in life. And I'm just like that. When I say we was walking in some real deep, serious, dealing with relationships and everything, a lot of times people don't want to tell their truth. People don't want to speak on the truth. But I'm like, hey, how can we be delivered? How can we go through these processes or steps? How can we get healed? How can we do this if we don't want to discover what's in us, or we don't want to go do no research? We don't want to dig up the root. A lot of times we don't do that because why? It's easier to look at somebody else's situation. It's easier to look at somebody else's shortcomings than to look at our own. And so man, when I say we were walking around, and I'm gonna talk the way I talk to my sister. Can I do that on this one? Can I do that? This ain't no script thing. And I'm like, even with that, even with the relationship between God wants us to come to him and talk to him for real, for real. I ain't talking about that thee and thou. And if that's the way you communicate with God, if that's the way you communicate with him, then that's your personal way of talking. But I go to God like I talk to y'all, and I be saying, God, listen, I need you. I need your help. Yeah. Don't nobody know me better than God, right? And so the way I'm talking to my sister is the way that I'm talking about this right here on this live. We always be saying, I say, BU podcast, you know how I do. This your girl, Mimi Wilson from BU podcast. But can I be real today? Can we be real? BU is about just being you. Simple as that. It ain't about the filters that's on social media. It's not about the lipstick. It's not about the weave right now. Ain't no weave up under this hat. This hair looking like Chachia. It ain't even about that. It's about being real. It's about wanting to be delivered and healed and set free. And we can't do that if we keep masking the situation or the circumstances. One of the topics that we had talked about in the shop on today, we was talking about marriage, right? And somebody was like, how do you feel about marriage? I said, marriage is beautiful. Marriage is honorable before God. They said, do you think that you would want to get married again? I said, of course. I'm a woman. I'm not set up to be a unit. I'm not set up to be, just by myself. And I said, there's no problem with dating. There's no problem with dating. I just choose in the place and space that I am. And but the thing is, you start discovering some stuff about you, right? You start discovering patterns about you. And that's real stuff. It's real stuff right now. And some of the things you be like, okay, it's good, but there be some bad things, right? And so in those bad things, we got to be able to deliver those things and get those things over to God, identifying those things, calling those things out. And in order for God to deliver us, the real for real, in order for God to deliver us, we got to deliver over to God and say, God, you know what? I wholeheartedly give you this. Because this right here is too much. And he said, I said, what? I just recently, Lord, right? Because I know it's easy for us to say, oh, we got it going on, we got it made. Oh, I'm good. We got to say that part. Don't have us now. I'm good. And guess what? The half of us is now. And we want to always say, oh, I want to be in a relationship. Are you equipped to be in a relationship? Are you equipped to be a wife? Are you equipped to be a husband? We got to win like stuff. We got to work this thing out. We got to work this thing out. We really need to discover some things about ourselves before we can do anything. And that comes with ministry as well. A lot of times we think that, oh, preaching and teaching is just getting up there, quoting scriptures. But my thing is, what's your life saying? How is your life? How is your heart? How is your heart? We wonder why we're not effective in a lot of things. How is our heart? How are we disciplined? Are we disciplined? Are we consistent in what we do? When I tell you I started this journey with my sister, and again, I'm just waiting on my sister. When I tell you, hey, Tay, when I tell you I started this journey with my sister, I told my sister, and I think a lot of times, and I know where I'm at, y'all, I put a pin right there. I think a lot of times people look at who we are, right? And they think or they say, I really needed you. But my sister don't even know that she's been therapy for me. She don't know because I don't deal with a whole lot of people. So just interacting with my sister, even though she like 15 circumstance, always pouring into people, do you not realize this journey, this thing we call life, you pour a lot into people, you feed a lot of people, but guess what? You're starving. Do you not realize that a lot of times? So I'm saying all of that to say this. For those people that are always eating off of other people, sometimes pick up the phone and check on them. People are wrestling with some things, and they can smile. You know how we do. Yeah, we show these pretty whites. We can smile and say, "I'm good." She over there getting out of the car. We can say, "I'm good," and they suffering. And that's why you find a lot of people killing themselves. You find a lot of people turning to drugs. You find a lot of people turning to alcohol. You find a lot of people that doing that. Why? Because they have no outlet, and they have put up this Superman patch on their chest, or Superwoman patch on their chest, or Wonder Woman patch on their chest, like they can handle everything, and they really can't. They're suffering in silence. They really are. So with this process, not only are we walking to get some of the weight off of us or be in better health. I know I'm doing it for better health and to get some of this midsection off, but I'm also working it out, my mental. I'm also working out the kinks in my life. My sister, she the same thing. I could say the same thing about her. I'm blowing a horn at my sister, y'all. I could say the same thing even with my sister. My sister, the same. She's a mother. She's a young mother. She's going to nursing school right now, and it's a lot. It's a lot, man. I say this all the time. Life be lifing, but a lot of times we're not living. A lot of times we are walking dead, y'all. And I'm being for real, for real. And I'm talking about Christian people too. We try to put up this thing, and yes, well, let me say this. I trust God. I believe in God. But there are some times when things get so heavy on you. And because we hold that title, because we are known to be the strong ones, we put up this front in front of people. But in this season of my life, I say, you know what? If I'm not all right, guess what I'm going to say? And you ask me, nah, I ain't all right now. I had somebody call me and say, I need a word. I say, trust God, baby, because right now that's all I'm doing. I'm trusting God right now. In this season, you got to really trust God and know God for yourself. Because, again, life is life, and y'all. And it's to a point that we got to work this thing out. We got to work out these kinks. Because if you don't, guess what? I had inflammation in my body. I'm going somewhere, y'all. I had inflammation in my body. I'm flashing right now. I had inflammation in my body. And I've heard about inflammation, but I never knew that inflammation, y'all know what I'm trying to say, inflammation, yeah, can build up in your body and shut your body down, literally. My whole left side was reeking with pain. One of the key things was stress. You walking around here. Come on, we working this thing out right now. You walking around here, taking on stress, taking on other people's issues, taking on other people's problems when you shouldn't. And I'm like, what are we going to do about that? I couldn't even lift my left side. I couldn't lift nothing. Hold on, y'all. I'm waiting on my sister. So I guess we about to start walking. I couldn't even lift up my left side because why? It was inflamed. It was swollen. My foot went numb on me. And that's when I knew, I said, I got to do something different. I can't keep taking on the responsibility of people or allowing things that I can't change. Because, yes, sometimes we have control issues. I'm just talking about me. I'm helping somebody on today. Sometimes we got control issues, but we want to dress it up in other forms and other fashions. And then when things don't go the way we want it to go, then we get all stressed out and bent out of shape. It's time out for that, y'all. It really is. And so in this season, you have to really want to work out your issues, work out your own soul salvation, and do better so you could be better mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You got to want to do better. You can't keep complaining about the same thing over and over and over again. Pity parties, God don't come to those. Praise parties, yeah, he comes to those. Can I give a testimony? Right? I had said to God, God, I'm ready to retire. You gotta be careful what come out your mouth. And me and my apostle and some of the church members, we was talking about that. I guess my sister ready, y'all. We were talking about that, right? And all of a sudden, seemed like it got kind of slow business wise, and that ain't never really happened to me, right? And I was like, God, what's going on? God said, yeah, you wanted to retire, but you got to be specific with God. And I said, you know what? So this morning when I woke up, I said, okay, God. Well, before I went to sleep, I said to God, I said, you know, God, I said, I need to rephrase what I said to you. Some of us need to go and rephrase.
Out. But we talking about working out the kinks of the realness of life. Life be life, and then we ain't living, but right. We stressing, right. And we slowly basically dying physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, we're dying. And a lot of times we be putting on these fronts in front of people, and people be thinking that we all good because we don't want to tell the truth. She trying to get herself situated.